Hello. So we're going to start making our game. The first step is to add the images to the game. So if you go to the Bootstrap topic and open up the blank game starter file, and on the blank game starter file, they have a section for graphics. You have your background, your danger, your target, your background, your danger, your target, your player. So you pick something for your background, something for your danger, which would be like an enemy or obstacle, a target, which would be like a collectible, like your goal, and the player, which would be the character you're playing as. So if you hit run, it does show example of a background and the player character. You have the robot is the player character, and the background is the night. It's this night forest. Okay, now you can't see the target or the danger because it's off screen because the numbers are bigger than. So, wonder why it doesn't show the danger though. Probably because the player is on top of the danger, so you can't see the danger. So, let's see, if we change these numbers, okay. So, the reason you can't see the danger, let's see, update danger X. We change these. Okay. So, the reason the danger and the target don't show up is because of these functions, the update danger and the update target. So if you add like 5, it's going to move to the right 5. If you subtract, it will move to the left. So, yeah. If you subtract, it moves to the left. If you add, it moves to the right. So so if we do x minus 5, x minus 5 for the danger's moving left, so the triangle moves left, and the target, which is the circle, moves to the right. So whatever you want your background or your scene to take, where your game takes place, you make an image, you find an image or make an image for the background, and then you do the same thing for your danger, target, and player. So whatever you want the obstacle or enemy to be, you would change the danger to that. Whatever you want your goal to be, change the target to that. You can use this image URL function to import images from the internet. So if I searched for a winter background for Mario, and I picked this image here, and if you hold down on the image and you open the image in a new tab. Okay, you open the image in a new tab and you copy the URL. So you click up here and you click copy, and then you put that in the quotes inside of the parentheses. So like it's image dash URL, open parentheses, and then quotes, and then you paste your URL there. Okay, and then that will, then you close the quotes and you close the parentheses. So now it has that winter background. Okay, now if we look at the background, it's like zoomed in. Okay, if you want, there is also a scale function. So if you look on page 35, it explains how to use a scale function. Well, so the scale function takes the scale xy takes a number, which is the x scale factor, and another number, which is the y scale factor, and then it takes the image and it produces an image. So if you want to make it smaller, you can use that scale xy, or if you look in the back of the book, there's also a scale function. So on the very back of the book. So that just takes a number and an image. So the scale will dilate it, which we'll go over later. It will adjust the length, the horizontal and the vertical the same. So you can use the scale function if you don't want to change, if you don't want to stretch it. If you want it the same shape but different size, you would do the scale. The scale XY would allow you to stretch it. So we'll just use scale. Okay, so scale, you do scale, then parentheses, and then you give it a number. So we want to make it smaller. So we put, if you want to put a decimal, you have to put a 0 in front of the decimal. Then you put your image and you have to close that scale function. So you have to have two parentheses at the end, one to close the image and another one to close the scale. Okay, and that will make the image or background zoom out a bit. If you want to zoom in, you make it bigger than 1. So if you want to make it larger, an enlargement is bigger than 1, and then a reduction is less than 1. try 0.1 and see if that makes it any smaller. I don't think it's changing it that much. Okay, so like say your player image is too big. If you want to make, say that robot smaller, you can use the scale function to make your robot smaller. I think if you import an image for your player, it'll probably be too big. Noticed that before, so you can use the scale function to make it smaller. Okay. You can also use like any of the graphics that we've used before, like the circle or the triangle. There's other shapes like rhombus. If you want to do a right triangle, so like the triangle function that's listed on here is an equilateral triangle. So if you want to do a different triangle, you can use that, and you can use different. You can look in the back of the book for different types of triangle. Like, say you wanted to make a triforce. So we're gonna make this we're gonna do a triangle. We're gonna make it gold. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to put another triangle on top of that. So we're going to center it so we can use overlay. If you don't want to center it, you use put image. So we're going to overlay a black triangle on top of that gold triangle. And we want to make it half the size, so we'll use 10. And you could also use the scale function and use the same number. Like we could do scale triangle and put in 20, and it would make a triangle half the size. But since we can give a size to the triangle, we'll make the triangle black that we're putting on top of it. And now it should look like a... So I forgot to close the parenthesis for the overlay. So to keep track, you can click on the close parentheses and it'll show like what the open parenthesis is that goes with it. If you click the closing parentheses. What did it do? It's not liking my player character. Player. Okay, so. Alright, so I forgot to close this parenthesis. So we have overlay triangle. You have to close the parenthesis on that triangle and then close. That was the issue. So now, oh, What I forgot was rotate. So you have to rotate the other triangle 90 degrees. So rotate, if you look in the back of the book for rotate, you give it the angle and then you give it the image. So we're going to rotate the other triangle. Well, actually, it's 180 degrees. Sorry. To flip it over. So then we have to close those parentheses, which, wait, I want to rotate the first triangle. So we're going to rotate this first triangle 180 degrees. And that makes a triforce. So you can either find images of what you want to add, or you can use the geometry tools, the shapes, to draw them yourself. So like say, well, we have, if we want, say, link. Okay, and then you want like pixel art link. One thing you can search for is a sprite, if you can. But a lot of times you get a sprite sheet. But so here's a sprite. So you open. The checkered board is usually, it indicates that it is transparent. So you probably want to, but sometimes they will have like a actual checkerboard background. So you open the image in a new tab, and then you copy the URL, and then let's see, where did and then we're going to put that inside the image URL function. Okay, and run it to see if it works. So that gives you link, and if you want to change the size, change the scale, put it in the scale function, like so. Let's just see how it would normally look. So like link, if you want your character that big, then you leave the scale at 1, but if you want to make it smaller, use a scale factor that is smaller. And then if you want to make it bigger, use a scale factor that is bigger than 1. So smaller than 1 makes it smaller. Bigger than 1 makes it larger. Like 2 would be twice as large. 0.5 would be half as large. And like 0.25, you have to put the 0 in front of it, would make it the quarter of the size. So depending on how big you want to make it. Okay. And then also you can change the name of the game at the very top. Whatever you want to call your game. Like, and call this Zelda Winter or something. And then you can change the color of the name of the game. Maybe you want it to be gold. Make it gold. And that's how to make the images. There's some slides if you need more explanation. There's some slides.